Hi, my name is Priscilla Perez, and today I'm going to be doing a presentation on MakerSpace. I will be going over what is MakerSpace, why we need MakerSpace, and how to start implementing in your classroom. If we teach today, as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. So this quote got me thinking about how we teach children, how we used to teach, how I was taught as a student. We mainly were reading books, had direct instruction through teachers, and then students either had to take some type of assessment, a quiz, maybe do a mini project, take their test at the end, and then at the very, very end, possibly do a bigger, large-scale project where they were able to apply what they learned. So what I realized was that that's not exactly how we want students to learn. We don't want them to learn from a book. So that brings me to MakerSpace. Today, right now, if you look around, I want you to count how many pieces of technology you have around you. If you're watching this video, you have at least one in your possession. We have technology at our fingertips. We use technology daily to find new possibilities, to become adaptable, and to be more capable, and just overall more creative. So how do we as educators help cultivate students to create these ideas and to gather these skills? Look at what all of these three pictures have in common. These pictures have people. We see people of all ages. The next thing that we see in these three pictures is a place. Now, this place could be a classroom, it could be a gym, it could be a store, an enclosed place for these people to work in. And then lastly, the major thing I do notice of these three pictures is that there's children or students that are making or creating things together. So that brings me to MakerSpace. So MakerSpace essentially is where students are constantly exploring, thinking, sharing, discovering, and imagining, dreaming, and being overall innovative. Now, what is MakerSpace? So as you can see in the video, you may actually maybe have heard of the maker movement, which is the rise in interest to create physical items with either digital tools or internet shared plans and different techniques. This idea of the makerspace actually evolved when Make magazine launched in 2005, which published information about maker-related projects that gave rise to the maker movement in general. It actually transformed from this makerspace. It was more of a pop-up shop. People could come together, they could bring their tools that they had because not everyone had, let's say, some type of power tool or a soldering machine. So all these people would get together in these shops that they would bring around the city and collaborate and try to help to fix either it was your toaster oven, creating some type of app, but it all transformed to education. And that happened in 2009 when President Obama promoted the MakerSpace by the Educate to Innovate campaign. So this promoted the value of making experiences. So President Obama, and I quote, says, "I want us all to think about new and creative ways to engage young people in science and engineering. Whether it's science festivals, robotics competitions, fairs that encourage young people to create and build and invent. To be maker of things, not just consumer of things." end quote. Why is MakerSpace needed? Well, according to Oxford University, about 47% of jobs will disappear in the next 25 years. And honestly, to me, that's pretty alarming because I want to be able to teach my students to be well-rounded and to be capable to survive and thrive in this society. So I want you to think right now in 2018, what's already happening? We actually have driverless vehicles from Google, Tesla, and Uber. Up until recently, there actually was an ambulance drone that had defibrillators from Sweden. Amazon Prime Air in England, which already uses drones to drop off small packages right at the doorstep or backyard. The Amazon headquarters in Seattle actually have no lines and no checkout. It actually uses sensors and artificial intelligence, factories that don't have workers anymore. STEM occupations are projected to be growing more rapidly than non-STEM occupations. A legendary hockey player named Wayne Gretzky once said that success comes not from skating to where the puck is, but to where it will be. Now, as an educator, I have to consider this when I'm thinking of my students. We need to be able to prepare them for jobs of the future and whatever that may be. So, what does MakerSpace look like?
We don't want everybody the same. We want a diverse ecosystem of unique thinkers. For me, the maker movement isn't about robots or 3D printers almost at all. The maker movement is about, really comes down to freedom. The freedom for us with our hands to make the world we live in. It's anti-industrial, and it's not about any one specific tool. It's about a viewpoint onto the world. It's about our opportunity to create our own viewpoint and create our own world with our hands.
So on the left side of this slide, there's actually this blueprint, and your classroom does not have to look like this, but it's just to give you an idea. And now when you're going to start off making your MakerSpace classroom, it is important that you start small and then you build to larger and incorporating more equipment that might be high ticket price. So the first thing that you could possibly do, and I have talked to other educators in different districts and in different schools, and what they have done for the primary educators is create one classroom, and that classroom could have been maybe a storage area, a classroom that is not being used by any teacher, and a lot of teachers came together, collaborated by cleaning out the classroom, creating certain areas in the class specifically designated for, let's say, recycling material that students can use, cardboard, tape, maybe if you have Legos or any of these other more complex tools to use, and truly just kind of map up the area. But honestly, you just have to kind of clear out the area and give space to your children to work. Now, what they have done is they created kind of a log where teachers can sign out the classroom for that specific hour. And what they have also considered to do was actually hire a MakerSpace educator. So what that means is that this educator is going to come in when your students are there. You will also be present. The educator will go ahead and talk to the students and let them know what they have to do and how to go about that, and teach them while you are there learning how to actually give these instructions to your students and how to go about implementing this MakerSpace ideology within your own curriculum. Now, it's a great opportunity because you're able to learn as the educator is there teaching your students. You'll be there for about 1 hour, and then the next teacher can come in, and it's just a rotating process in that one classroom. Now, if you are in secondary education, you could actually do this quite differently. You could do it the same, where teachers are just checking out that same room, and you might not have a MakerSpace educator. Well, you would have, as a teacher, have to just implement what you know, and again, start small, and you can make adjustments as you go through your curriculum and just kind of fine-tune as we do. But another way of doing this as well is by actually creating just a smaller space within your classroom for the MakerSpace. And again, start very small. You can get cardboard materials, put them in a section of your classroom, construction paper, duct tape, glue, markers, all those pieces of equipment that technically we have in our possession. We can use that in our classroom. So that specific area of your classroom will be used once you want to do those MakerSpace activities, or designate maybe that once a week that students will be in that area. What's nice too is that other teachers in other classrooms, doesn't matter what subject matter they are teaching, they could also do the exact same thing. They could go ahead and create that space in their own classroom as well. Or you could just have that one classroom and everyone just kind of rotate and check out. And if your school is able to hire a MakerSpace educator, it would be great because you could also learn from them as well. If anything, it's just a way for you to kind of explore and again, be creative, because that's what whole MakerSpace is all about. You may want to add some of these other components or gadgets to your MakerSpace. 3D printers, they're Dash robots, Edison robots, Spheros, Little Bits, Coding Jam, Makey Makey, drones, Ozobots, Raspberry Pis, microbits, and other various tools such as like welding or soldering equipment. And remember that over the years, you can start to gradually add these components to your STEM or to your MakerSpace. What's really great about this MakerSpace too is that it's cross-curricular, which means that all subject matter will benefit from this, is NGSS aligned, which some of you may have heard of or maybe haven't, but more of our standards are now being more so project-based, where students are trying to learn on their own as they are creating. So it's actually a great way to implement the NGSS as well as Common Core. But honestly, I haven't yet started MakerSpace in my classroom, but I am, because I see that there's tons of benefits. Collaboration is truly the key to our future because no job is singular. Students need to learn and work as a team. That is a key of growth mindset and the jobs of the future. And these are the benefits that we're going to see throughout MakerSpace. So I challenge you to get started with your MakerSpace, whether it's small or large space students. And I just want to leave you with this last quote. All genuine learning comes through experience, by John Dewey.